Hello, hello, welcome everybody. I am Mark McLean, Sparky Mark. How are you guys doing? Also, please let me know in the chat where in the world you are located. I know you will have just clicked a little link there, but let me know how you guys are doing and where on this fine planet that you are located. Yeah, fantastic. And we are now live. Now, I know there's many of you guys from all over the planet. So as I say, let me know in the chat how you guys are doing. And also, if for some reason your Zoom name is slightly different to the name that you've been given, you're using a parent's account or a friend's account or anything like that, then please let us know in the chat. Say, change my name to, and that way we know who is watching. I see Sylvia says in the UK, fantastic. I'm in London too. How about you, Alex and Charlotte and Ian and Jinan and Janet and Justin? And where are you guys located? And let me know how you're doing. Fantastic. Virginia, USA, says Justin. So as I said, if your name isn't the one that's listed on Zoom, then let us know and Rez can change it. So cool. Now, fantastic. As I say, we are live from London, and in today's session, we are going to be building the MEL Kids Jungle Jack set, but I'll get onto that in just a minute. But just before we get started, there are two very important individuals to introduce you to. The first is Rez, who is in the chat. So, and that's R-E-Z. So say hi to Rez in the chat. Now, we're very lucky to have Rez in the chat. If there's any problems with your audio or video or anything like that, please do let him know. He's also in London. Very lucky to have him. And he's just written, hi, everyone, under MEL Academy there. So you can see him. Fantastic. Great. Brilliant. Now, I said two important individuals. Now, let me make sure I've got... I can see Ian... you've just got a Q&A, or I'll get onto that in just a second. But yes, so two important individuals. The second is this chap here. Hey, Owlie, how you doing, buddy? What's occurring? Nothing much. Cool. Now, this is Owlie. For those of you guys who've been to one of my sessions before, I know that I see some familiar names too. So you guys have met Owlie before. Hey, how's everything going? Fantastic. Are you excited about today's session? Yes. Now I have to say this, the Jungle Jack is the first one that Owlie and I ever did together. Now, in fact, I used Owlie on some demonstrations, mainly to kind of lift him up. You quite enjoyed it, didn't you? And then suddenly you guys loved him so much that that I think if I did a session without him, you would be annoyed. So now, for any of you guys who have met him or haven't met him before, Owlie, no, I wasn't gonna say it, Owlie. Don't worry. Yeah, I was definitely not going to say that you're a stuffed toy, because you're definitely a real... Now, Owlie thinks he's a real owl. So, yeah. So, yes, you're definitely a real owl, Owlie. Yeah. Okay, well, no, I mean, okay, now I know my voice sounds like I'm being sarcastic and you're not really a real owl, but you're definitely a real owl that lives in a house with a human being in London doing science experiments online. Yeah. So anyway, as I said, Owlie will be joining us today on doing the demonstration. In fact, yeah, you're looking forward to this. You get to go up. We actually love this set, both Owlie and I. The guys at MEL Science who created it. It's a really cool set. So we'll be having a look at that. Right, fantastic. Shall we get on? Brilliant. Okay, cool. All right, thanks, buddy. See you in a sec. Okay, brilliant. So we are. I'm going to be doing the Jungle Jack. Now, I can see that, Ian, you haven't received your set yet. That's okay. Now, I know some of you guys like to do the set with me. So some of you guys, I'll be doing a live unboxing for you. You get to see everything that's in the set, and you also get to build it along with me. Now, I know some of you guys love doing that. I also know that some of you guys have already built it. So you just, want to learn a little bit more about the science behind what's going on there, and that's okay too. Some of you might build it again in the future. Obviously, you can re-watch these sessions at any point again in the future, and I know some of you guys do that. In fact, my little cousins actually love watching these shows, and they love seeing Sparky Mark, and then they sometimes go back and then rebuild the sets a little bit later. So whichever way you guys are doing it, that is fine. But I'll make sure that you can see what's going on and you can see the science of what's going on here. Okay, fantastic. Brilliant. And yeah, Rez has already put the previous lessons recordings on melscience.com/academy/timetable/past. So you can see all of the previous sessions, and you are always welcome to join us on those. So how are you guys doing? You know, are you excited about doing the Jungle Jack? As I said, Owlie and I both love this set. It's really cool. You actually get to put together an actual jack lift, which is really cool, and we get to look at both pneumatics and hydraulics. Now I'll go into what all of those are, what those terms are in a little bit, and as I say, we'll go a little bit deeper into the science. Now, as ever, if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to ask them. I generally say if we could maybe ask questions that are related to forces that we're going to be looking at, or hydraulics, but you know what? Any questions really, I'm super happy to answer. I love having your questions. So that's one of the real benefits of doing this stuff live and doing these sessions live, is you get to actually ask questions. So please don't be shy, pop them into the chat. And also I'll be doing a little polls for you guys. So even if you don't feel like typing, you can press on the answers there. Okay, fantastic. Great. So let's get going. What we're going to do, let me get the Jungle Jack set. So this is the set that you either have or you will be getting. Okay. Now let me switch to my tabletop view. Here we go. So this is the set. Now if we open this up, what we have within the set here is the box, okay? And the box here, you should be able to open this up here, and within the box we have all of the bits you're going to need, okay? Now what's pretty cool is there's this nice little science journey booklet here, which actually is really pretty cool, I must say. And I'm just going to pop these over to one side here. We also have the Mystery Planets map and the Jungle Jack instructions. So this is what you guys are going to need today. Now also within the set, we have these two cases here that contain all the elements that you're going to need in order to build your jack lift. There is also this little hexagon here, and we're going to talk about that in just a bit. I'll talk about that in the end, towards the end, about how you can actually use that. And also, as with all the other sets, there's a little sticker as well that you can add to the booklet. So let me pop all of this here. Great. Now, what I do before we do any of these sessions is I like to kind of arrange all the pieces out so that I can see everything, okay? So what I've got here within the set, if you just open them up like this, now we should have 2 syringes like this and some piping also, and some other little bits here. Now I'll go into, as I say, what all of these bits do in a minute, but I like to sort of arrange them so I can see everything and I have easy access to it. So if you are doing this with me, then please, if you can get all the pieces out, and then we can, as I say, we can get started. Now I'm just going to move this stuff, there we go, out of the way. Right, now within this other packet, we also have lots of these wooden pieces as well, and I'll be going over what they are. Now, let me quickly show you. As with all of the sets, okay, with all of the sets, what we have right at the beginning on the first page here, oh yes, we've also got this, on the first page here, we have a list of components, okay, and that lists all of the things that you're going to need in order to do this set, okay. Now, with this set, as I say, there's quite a few pieces, but if we just sort of get them all laid out so that I can kind of see them, it makes everything a lot easier. So let me know in the chat, are you guys going to be doing the set with me, or are you going to watch and then do it a little bit later? What is the vibe? What are you guys thinking? What are you going to be doing? So let me know in the chat, and that way I can kind of get a sense of you know, how quickly I need to go, or I need to make sure that I don't go too fast. And don't worry, I won't go too fast, just to make sure that you guys, there we go, can keep up. Okay, so I've got all my pieces laid out here, and I've also got my list of components for myself here. Okay, fantastic. So I see that Alex is doing it with me. Fantastic. And then Melissa is going to be watching now and then teach the kiddos later. Fantastic. And Justin, you'll be doing it with me. Fantastic. Brilliant. And the first time doing the set, we're going to do it with us. Thank you very much, Shannon. Brilliant. You guys are brilliant. And Charlotte, thank you you guys are very communicative. Thank you very much. All right, brilliant. And you don't have the set yet. Yeah, I saw that, Sylvia. Okay, that's brilliant. But hopefully you'll have a look. And as I say, with the unboxing, you get to kind of get a feel for how everything's put together. Now, everything luckily is pretty straightforward. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward to be able to do this set. But as I said, what I'll do is I'll kind of give you hints and tips on any areas that might be a little bit difficult, but pretty much everything should be pretty straightforward. Okay, right. So now not only are we going to be building the set, but I mean looking a little bit at the science behind this. Now, one of the key things to understand just before we get going is the universe around us is made of tiny little things called atoms. Okay, now these atoms are so tiny we can't even see them even under a microscope. Okay, so they're so small, they're basically invisible because they are so tiny. But okay, they're all around us and they sort of fit together kind of like building blocks, okay, almost like Lego bricks, I guess, and they fit together to make much larger things like me, you, and my buddy here, Owlie. Yes, you are made of atoms. That's true. Okay, now the question I have for you guys very quickly before we get started is, now Owlie is made of atoms, okay? But these atoms are so tiny that we can't even see them, okay? So why is it that we can see Owlie? Yeah, I can see you. Don't worry, buddy. I see you. I see you. Okay, so why is it? Let me know in the chat, or I'll just give you a second to have and even if you don't feel like writing it into the chat, or you just want to have a think about it, you can say it out loud to someone there. Hopefully there's a responsible adult with you too, and you can share the ideas. Why is it that if Owlie's made of atoms that are so tiny we can't even see them under a microscope, they're basically invisible, why is it that we can see Owlie? Yeah, I can definitely see you, Owlie. Wait, can you see Owlie? Because I hope he's not my imagination. Okay, cool. All right, fantastic, good. I think you guys can see Owlie. Okay, Shannon says, because it's big, fantastic. Any other ideas? And don't worry, I'll be going over all the different ones. And as I say, please don't worry about putting a wrong answer. I'm never going to say to someone, oh, you got it wrong. In fact, I'm also going to name and shame. It's just more just to get the discussion going. And also one of the big things is, what's wonderful is you can see us. You can see me and Owlie. We can't see you guys. So we kind of rely on you in the chat to kind of let us know that you're there. Let us know that you're alive. Let us know that you are participating. Okay, he is real and I can see you. That's good, Alex. That's good. Fantastic. Definitely real. Okay, that's good. And also a real owl, right? Yeah, cool. Anyway, so brilliant. Now, okay, now I can see a few different answers coming through. The key thing to understand here is that Owlie is made of so many atoms. Okay, there are so many and they fit together, so many of these tiny little atoms that eventually they become big enough that we can actually see. Okay, yeah. So that's why we can see Owlie. Thanks, dude. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, so the key here is understand that the world around us is made of atoms, okay? And in fact, the air around us has lots and lots of atoms in it too. Now, they are much more spread out. That's why we can't see them. So let me just do a little test with you guys. Can you wave your hand at your face? And in fact, you don't even have to do that. You can use the instruction manual as well. If you just wave the instruction manual at yourself, what do you feel? What do you feel? Yeah, I can see Justin has put lots put together. Fantastic. Well done. And Shannon, yes, it's big. That's right. There's lots and lots of atoms. Well done. Now, what did you feel? So if you wave your hand at your face, I'm trying not to hit my face. What do we feel on our skin? What do we feel? And I can see Alex has an answer already. Well done. Anyone else have any answers? And I can see the answer air. Fantastic. Yeah, you can feel the air hitting your face. Anything else? Any other ways of describing it? And again, also, I'm not worried about spelling or anything like that stuff. Nish has said the wind. Fantastic. Really, really good. Yeah, Alex says cold. Fantastic. Really good. Great. And I can see now a few other answers coming through. Absolutely right. Now, the answers seem to be wind, air. That's absolutely right. You can actually feel atoms hitting your face. Now they will feel like wind or like the air, and that's absolutely right. Now in fact, I'm looking out my window right now and I can see that the trees outside are moving, and that's because they're being hit by atoms. Okay, right, now I'm going to get on to building this in just a second, but just to understand, everything around us is made of atoms, okay, including the air, even though we can't see them. So when we take something like one of these syringes, okay, what we do, oh, there we go, drop it. When I pull this down, it's actually sucking atoms of air into it, okay? So when I push up again, we can actually push the air out. And we're going to use this really, really cool concept in just a minute, okay? All right, in just a minute. But before, as I say, we're going to build this, and then I'll kind of go through the science as we go. So let's have a look at this. Right, so now there's quite a lot to do, so let's get going. So the first step is we are going to need, I'm going to just go over here. Now, we're going to need the template, okay, which is this. Okay, this is the template. Now, within the set, now Ali and I needed to just do this before, just to make sure it was kind of set up. But what I'm going to ask you guys to do is there should be a pack of stickers, okay? These little stickers here, and they are just little white stickers, and they should stick. So if you turn this over here, okay, you should be able to stick them just onto the back here within these green bits here, okay? Get the syringe and put it, oh, sorry, not the camera, there we go, perfect. Good, so that's the first step, but don't worry, I'm going to be doing everything else with you. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys, obviously wanted to make sure this was set up ready for us, but essentially what we have here is just the 4 little stickers they should go onto, and you stick them within the green little parts here. So if you just take them off, you might need a little bit of help from a responsible adult just to get those kind of set up. Right, so while I get you to do that, okay, the other thing is that, remember, we could see Owly, okay, and that's because he is a solid. There are solids, liquids, and gases. Now, an example of a liquid is water, for example, okay? Now, water, the molecules are, now in air, the atoms, okay, are very spread out. In solids, they're very densely packed. Now, in liquids, they are also pretty densely packed as well, okay? Now, in fact, it means that with liquids, we actually can't squish them down and make them any smaller. But again, we'll be talking about that in just a minute. Now, how are you guys getting on with these stickers? Once you've got those, please turn your guide over. Okay, so this essentially will be useful for us in building it. You've done, okay, brilliant, well done. Okay, I can see a few people saying that. Brilliant. Now, that's the template. Now, again, if you need to know what any of the names are, you can look on the list of components here. Okay, so once you've got your template all set up, what we're going to need is these rivets. Now, the rivets are these little black, okay, little black plastic things here. And what we need to do, I'm going to just empty those out here. And what we do is we place them onto the little circles where the stickers are, okay? So this is this, here we go. We just place them onto there, and they should, therefore, then stick. So even if I've got them on the side, because we put the stickers on the back and there were holes in there, those should hold in place. Now, how are you guys getting on with that? Fantastic, good. I can see a few people saying you're done. Brilliant. Now, if anyone's still doing it, don't worry, I won't rush too far ahead. The next thing is, okay, we've got these little pieces here, okay, and they're called ridged beams, okay. Now, there are ridged beams and there are straight beams. Let me just show you this. These are the straight beams because they have the straight edges, and these are the ridge beams. Now, try not to get them mixed up. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the ridged beams, and we need 2 of these. Okay, so we take 2 of those. Now, have a look at your guide, okay? Can you see that the blue ones are ridged, just like these, okay? And these slightly sort of redder kind of ones here, they are the straight beams. They match the straight beams. Now, what we need to do is we take a ridged beam and we place it onto the template. So you see these little holes here. You place them over the top here, you place them over the top of, there we go, of the little rivets, and what you then do is you push it down, okay, and it should clip into place. Now, the good news is this ridge beam now should cover up one of the blue images on this guide, okay, and then we do the same thing with the other ridge beam, and make sure that that it's sitting on top of, make sure it's sitting on top of the image there. Okay, so I'll just push that down. There we go. All right, fantastic, good. So those are the ridge beams. We've done that. That is step 4 done. Okay. Now we're going to have step 5, where we're actually going to take the straight beams here. Okay, so we just take these straight beams here, and then what I'm going to do is we're actually going to build something before we pop it onto here. So what you do is you take 2 of these. Okay, we're actually going to need 4, but we take 2 of these, and you take one of these crossbars, and you place the straight beam over the top of the crossbar here. Okay, now this you might need a little bit of help with, but you should be able to clip that into place there. Okay, so we've got the crossbar here, okay, and it fits onto the straight beams. There we go, and we're just going to clip those over there. Okay, now you need to do 2 of these, right, which means essentially you needed 4 of these straight bars, straight beams, and we're just going to clip those into the crossbars there. Okay, so there we go. There we go. There we go. So we should have 2 of those. Now, how are you guys getting on with those? Let me know. And then once you're ready with those, what you can actually do is place them again onto your template. So be very careful of this. You see the holes at the bottom there? Okay, you just place this onto the top where there's the red part there, and you just clip that down. Now, for anyone who's having, so is anyone having difficulty with any of these bits? Have you find it difficult to clip these little straight bars onto the crossbar there? If you are, and maybe grab some help from a responsible adult or have a look. Okay, and maybe if you, I wonder if maybe Rez, if you could message Alex and find out if there's anything specifically it needs a bit of help with, or is it just being able to clip these in? Now, as I say, it can be a little bit hard. There we go, for anyone. There we go. Let me just quickly make sure. So essentially what you're doing here is you take these 2 lines here, okay, and you just place them onto the crossbar. But I think if you try and do both of them at the same time, it can be quite hard. So what I actually usually try to do is to just try and do one of them first. You see, like this. So just try and do one of them first, and it should just slip in. And then when you do this, you should then be able to put a thumb onto here and 2 fingers, and it should just clip into place there. Perfect. Great. Let me know how you guys are getting on with those. We should have those 2 beams here. Okay, right. So another concept that we are going to need to understand with this is the concept of forces. Okay, now essentially forces are pushes or pulls. Okay, so the forces are either pushes or pulls. Okay, so for example, if I had Owly sitting here, and if I then gave him a bit of a push like this, he would move that way. Are you okay with this, Owly? Yeah, fantastic, good. In fact, what I will do, let me show you my tabletop here. If Owly's sitting here, okay, let me move this here. If Owly's sitting here, he's behind me, and I give him a bit of a push, he moves. Okay, so you okay, Owly? Yeah, fantastic. So if I push him this way, he's going to move this way. If I push him this way, he's going to move that way. In fact, in the same way, if I use his arm and I pull him that way, there we go, or pull him that way. You're definitely okay with being demonstrated with. Okay, fantastic, Owly. Brilliant. So forces are pushes or pulls, and they get things moving. Okay, they actually accelerate objects. They get them moving faster, or they can actually slow them down as well. Now, if I let go of Owly, okay, I'm not going to let you go. I promise I'm not going to let you go. But if I let go of Owly, what would happen to him? Yes, I know you can fly, Owly, so it's okay. All right, so he's going to be okay whatever happens. But what would happen? In fact, let's do a demonstration with not Owly. So I'm just going to pop you there, okay? Now, say for example, I have this pen here, okay? What's going to happen if I let go of the pen? Okay, so if I let go of the pen, what is going to happen? I think you probably know. Let's have a look. I can see some answers already. People saying it's going to fall, or it's going to drop, or it's going to move towards the earth. That is true. Let's have a look. If I let go of this, oh, there we go. It dropped. Now that is due to a force called gravity. Okay. Now when my hand is holding it upright, what's happening is I'm applying a force upwards, which is actually cancelling out gravity. What's actually happening here, gravity is wanting to pull it down towards the earth, and my hand is pushing it up so it stays still. Okay, but with this device, we are going to create a device that actually will move objects up. We actually lift them, okay, against gravity, which is pretty cool, okay? So I'm just going to quickly ask you guys a poll. A force pulling things down towards the earth is called. So there is a force and it pulls things down towards the earth, okay? So the force pulling things down towards the earth, is it called heaviness? Is it called gravitational force or gravity? Or is it called unicorn dust? Or is it space force? What do you guys think? So you can just click the answer. Now, again, I don't see who answers what. So if you want to click unicorn dust, you're okay with that. But let's have a look. So don't worry about getting the right answer. It's just to kind of make sure you guys are engaged and just, as I say, make sure you're awake and have a look. So what is the force that pulls things down towards the earth? Is it heaviness, or is it gravitational force or gravity? Or is it unicorn dust, or is it space force? What do we think? I can see everyone has answered. Fantastic. Great. Now let me quickly share the results there. I can see that 86% of you, almost everyone, said it was gravitational force. Fantastic. Well done. Now, as I say, I don't get to see who answered what. So thank you very much, by the way, for answering. It's really great to have now it's true, objects that are heavy, okay, will, want to go down towards the earth, but the force itself is actually called gravity or gravitational force. Now we're going to build a device that will actually lift things against gravity, which is pretty cool. Okay, so let's have a look now. I can see that most of you guys have built I can see almost everyone who's building, well done, has built your crossbars here. Now the crossbars, what will happen is we're going to place them onto this. But remember, now this is very important. Make sure that it matches this red part here. Okay, now I can see some people have gone ahead. That's fine too. As I said, I took a little bit of time on that, but I don't mind if you want to go ahead. That's okay. So let's have a look at this. We're just going to clip this in here like this. Okay, now can you see that just underneath this part here is the crossbar. There we go, cross beam. We're just going to plug that one on too. Okay, so they should be sitting there, and you can actually just see that this kind of pinky red bit's just underneath there. Fantastic. All right, brilliant. So that is step 6 done. Okay, we're going to have a look at step 7, which is, again, to put both of those on. Now, step 8. And I'm just going to put this to one side. Step 8 involves us having 2 of these ridged beams here. Okay. Now, again, what we're going to need is 4 rivets. But what we do is we put 1 in the center. Okay, we're going to just push 1 through the center of this ridged beam. And then we're going to push 1 through one side here. So we've got 1 in the center, 1 in the side, and one of them is going to be left empty. Okay, that's very, very important that we've only put 2 in there. Now I'm going to do that twice. So let me do this again, just in case. So I'm going to put 1 in the center. Okay, just 1 in the center there, and then 1 at one side. Now it doesn't matter what side you put it in. It doesn't matter what side you put it in, as long as you put it in the center and the side there. So we've got the side and the center there. Perfect. Now, by the way, if you guys, any of you guys, have any questions so far, and even if it's not related fully to this, Owlie and I love questions. So please feel free to pop any questions in that you have, okay? And I'll do my best to answer them as quickly as possible for you. All right, fantastic. So let's have a look at this. What we've got here is these 2 beams. Now, that's step 8. Okay, now hopefully that should be okay. Now the next part is this. Now this is where you have to pay attention, close attention. You see the beam that has these 2 bars here. Now these 2, okay, are going to go directly above the ridged beam below. So here we go. So let me tilt this towards you so you can see this. Okay, so if you're looking directly from above, you see these two here we go. These 2 rivets. The rivets are going to push into the shape so that this is directly above, okay, so directly above. So can you see that these two open-ended that haven't got any rivets in them are going to be just above, literally just above the one that was below, okay? And then all I have to do is just use my thumb and finger, and I'm just going to push that into there, okay? And then the same thing here, thumb and finger, just to push it into place. Now that's one of them. The next one that I just did, now it doesn't go exactly the same way. We have to turn this round because it needs to go directly, again, I'm just making sure I do this for the camera for you. Here we go, to make sure I angle this for you. Sorry, give me a sec. There we go. There we go. That's it. Okay, so what we're going to do is this is going to go directly above the one below there. Okay, so that's it. So it doesn't go upwards. Okay, it's going to go down. So it is directly above the one that you've already put in place, and that's very, very important. So I'm just going to make sure those clip into place. Okay, all right, hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Fantastic. Okay, good. Now what we're going to do is take off this guide here. Okay, just take off our guide plate. Okay, and we're just going to pop this over to one side. Now we have this mechanism that we built. Now scissors, okay, are essentially a type of lever, a pivot. And what actually happens is we've actually almost got like a double one here. So what actually happens is when you open these two up, okay, the opposite side will open up too, and we close this down. But what's also very clever is that as you push these together, they move apart. You see these two holes here will move away from these two holes, and if I open them up, they go much closer. Further away, closer. And in fact, this is going to be the mechanism that actually allows our jack to work. Okay, fantastic. All right, brilliant. Now, here we go. Let's have a look at this. So we need to now build the actual jack lift. Okay, so let's go to step 11, and we are going to need the base and then the platform. Okay, but let me go to the base, and we've also got these two base rails. Now let me show you what they look like. Now there are, I think it's easier if we differentiate between the two of them. Okay, so what we've got here is we've got a long thin one, and we've got one that looks a bit like a sledge at the bottom here. Now this is the one we're going to want. Okay, the one that has this base plate, essentially has this little rail here. Okay, so we're going to need this one here. In fact, we're going to need two of those. We're going to need two of those. So if you can grab this here. Okay, and we're also going to need the base plate. Now the base plate, okay, and this top plate look very similar, but the one we want is the one with these almost looking like little horns there. Okay, we're going to want the one with this part here. Okay, so this little part here, and then what we do is we take our base rails essentially, and we place them through. Can you see that there's a long hole here and a short hole here? We take this part here, we'll go through the long hole, and this one here will go through the small one. So what we do is we just fit that into there. And what you can actually do is it should just click into place. Again, just put fingers on the bottom and push up with your thumbs like that, and it should just clip. Now let me show you that again. Okay, so again, the long hole here, and the short hole, this part goes into the long one, and this small little part here goes into the small one. There we go. And what we do is we just slip it in there. Now if you, as I say, if you find it difficult at all, you can do one edge first, and then you can do the other there. Okay, fantastic, good. All right, brilliant. So let me know how you guys are getting on. If there's any problem, let me know in the chat. Otherwise, we will keep going. So now we've essentially got the base of our jack lift here. Okay, and what we're going to do now, I always arrange them so that it looks the same as it does in the picture. So we've got the picture here, and to me it looks the same. It makes it easier. Then what we want to do, this is where it gets a bit funky. We want to take our, we're going to take our mechanism, okay, this is our mechanism, and what we need to do is we need to arrange it so that you see these two holes here, okay, so at one end you've got, essentially what you've got here is a ridged beam and a straight beam. We want the straight beam and the ridged beam, okay? And we're going to arrange it so that the two ridged beams are at the bottom here. Now this is really important. We take the ridged beams and they are at the bottom, and just above it will be the straight beam like this. And so our sort of scissor mechanism here is facing away from the plate. Okay, then what we need to do, okay, is we take two little rivets and we're actually going to attach the rivet to the, there we go, to that ridged beam. Okay, so we're going to attach the rivet, and what we do is we just push this through the outside here. There we go. And it means that it is now attached to our platform. Now, any problems, obviously have a look at the instructions there, but I'm going to turn this round, and the same thing here. I'm doing the ridged beam is being attached, and it's just on the inside, and all I do is take the rivet and I'm going to pop that through the hole there. Okay, fantastic, good. There we go. All right, so let me know how you guys are getting on with that. Okay, brilliant. And let me know, I can see, Alex, you've written it broke. Let me know if there's, if what bit did, or if that just, you mean it's come out. Let me know in the chat. Okay, fantastic. Good. All right, well, I'm going to keep going. Now, what we want to do is we need to actually now do our top plate, okay, which is called our platform. And so we're going to need the platform piece, which is this sort of flat piece there, okay, and we're also going to need the platform rails. Now, these here are the platform rails, okay, and this is the platform. Now the platform is slightly different to the base because it's only got it's got a much smaller hole and an even smaller hole here. And what we then do is we take these rails and we place them, okay, not underneath this time, we place them on top. Okay, so what's going to happen here is you've got a small hole and a big one, and do you see at the bottom of this rails here, you've actually got these little clips that go in. So now I find it much easier, okay, if you just push the small one in first, okay, just clip it in, and then you should be able to clip the big one in. Now they ended up both going in at that time, but as I said, and then you can see them sort of poking out the bottom here, okay. Now let me spin this around. What we've got then is we've also got this one here, and I just pop the small one into there. Can you see it? Hopefully you can see that the small ones pop through, and then I use that to guide the larger one into place, and that should just clip in place. Again, get the help of an adult if you are not sure about how to do it, but it should hopefully be fairly self-explanatory for you. Okay, so we've actually now built our platform here. Now the platform's actually upside down. That's going to be the top, but we need to attach this to our mechanism. Now how we do that is this. Now do you remember that we had the ridged one, the ridged beam was attached to the base platform. We're actually going to be attaching this straight beam now to this top platform rather than the base. And the way we do that, okay, again, same thing is just with the rivets. So let me just show you again. We've got our mechanism here, and we just lay this down. We place those. We should be able to just fit a rivet. Here we go, I've dropped that. A rivet into this hole here to attach this platform part to the straight beam there. Okay, and then I can do the same thing on the other side. There we go. All right, brilliant. Now hopefully it should look like this. We've got our base here, and we've got our top platform here. Now what we then do is we're going to flip this whole thing over. So let me just show you and make sure it's here so you can see. We flip the entire thing over like this, and that should be in place there. Okay, so now we've got our top platform, and this should be able to go up and down. Let me know how you guys are getting on. Perfect. Right, good. And then the last little bit before we get onto the main mechanism is we then just need to lift this up a little bit, and we take this little stick, okay, so this little wooden pole, and we need to then insert this into this little line here. Okay, we're going to insert that into there, and what we can then do is lift this up, and there should be a little hole. I'm just going to show you. There's a little hole here. just on this straight beam, and we just insert this through, and so that should hold it in place there. Okay, so any problem with that, let me know. But essentially what you do is you take this and you insert it through here, and then you plug it through the hole in the straight beam, and again same thing, hole in this straight beam here, and then we push it through all the way to the other side there. Okay, and then what we want to do is step 17, which is to take these little pads here and we just place them onto, there we go, just place them onto the wooden peg there. Okay, fantastic, and that should hold it in place. Any problems, let me know. There we go, and I shall, there we go. All right, perfect, and I'll leave it there so you can kind of see how it should look. Okay, so I placed those two on there. Okay, fantastic. Let me know if you've got any problems. Right, now, as I said, I was talking a little bit about atoms, okay, and how a syringe actually, when you pull this down, essentially when you pull the syringe down, it will actually suck air atoms into it, and then when you push it out, it will push them away, which is actually very useful for us, okay? So we use this in something called pistons. Now, very quickly, solids, okay, so things like me and things like this pen, okay, they have atoms that are much more densely packed than a gas, okay? So essentially the gas, the atoms are floating around, and that's why we can't see them, and it's because the ones in a solid, the reason we can see the solid is because they're so tightly packed, they're so densely packed. Now I'm just going to do a little poll for you guys. Here we go. As I say, you don't need to get the right answer, but so atoms in a solid are, now I know I've just said it, but it's just to try and reinforce this, just to make sure that you're happy with the concept, okay? So atoms in a solid can't be compressed, or they constantly vibrate, or they're more densely packed than a gas, or are all of the above. Now, okay, now I don't need you to get the right answer. There's a lot of information here, so and as I say, you don't need to get all of this, but it's just more, as I say, just to check that you're awake and also check that you're there. Now, with gases, okay, we can actually compress the atoms. We can actually make them move closer to each other because they're very, very spread out. Okay, now, very quickly, I know some of you already answered, and please, as I say, you don't need to get the right answer, but this is more just to see who knows what, and also to kind of give a little bit of a tester here. Okay, as I say, you don't have to have a go, but just have a go. It's more just a little bit of a game, and let's see. Perfect, cool. All right, so I think that's pretty much everyone. Well done, fantastic. I'm going to just share the results with you now. Okay, so about 83% of you said that they are more densely packed than a gas. And by the way, that is absolutely true. Well done, that's fantastic. Okay, now, one of you said all of the above. You're also right, but let me go into this in just a second. Okay, so let's quickly understand this. So atoms in a poll, I'm going to leave the poll up just for a second, okay? So atoms in solids, okay, they can't be compressed. They just stay. That's the pen here. I can't make it any smaller, okay? And I'm going to show you with a gas how you can. But the atoms themselves are also constantly vibrating as well. So it was a little bit of a trick question for me. Owlie's looking at me going, Sparky Mark, that's just rude. But yes, absolutely, a little bit of a trick question, but they are more densely packed in a solid than they are in a gas, and they can't be compressed, and they also do constantly vibrate. So in fact, the answer is all of the above. They actually all do. Now, as I said, don't worry, you don't need to be an expert on this, and it was just more to see how you kind of got on with that question. Okay, but don't worry, there's going to be another poll for you in just a second, okay, or just in a few minutes. Now, we are going to get our jack to rise. How are we going to get it to rise? Well, we are going to use a pretty cool mechanism. Okay, so first of all, what I would like you to do is this. Now, you might need a little bit of help with this, but hopefully you should be okay. If you take this little plastic pipe, okay, and attach it to the top of the syringe. Now, it will take a little bit of a doing. You'll be able to work it. Here we go. Let me tabletop. What I do is I take my, move this here. You take my move this stuff out of the way. I take my syringe and I put the little plastic tube over the top of it, okay? over the top of this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up one of my syringes. Okay, so I've opened it up, I've pulled it back, and I've actually ended up filling it up with air. Then what I do is I attach to the other end here. Okay, I attach the other syringe, but this one is going to be closed. Okay, all right, so now watch this. So what I've done, and don't worry, you don't need to do this immediately. I'll let you take some time and have a go with it, but I do encourage you to have a go for yourselves because it's pretty fun. What we're going to do here is I'm going to push on this syringe. Okay, now it is full of air atoms, and when I push it down, what is going to happen to this syringe, do you think? You don't need to type it, don't worry, it's okay. And there's no question. I just want to get a feel. What do you think? You can type it, by the way, if you want to. But what do you think is going to happen to the other syringe when I push down? When I push down on this one, okay, what's going to happen? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Now have a go. Have a think. Have a think. Here we go. Watch this. If I push this one down. Nothing. Wait, nothing. No, I am pushing. Here we go. Here we go. I'm pushing down. I'm pushing down. The other one will go up, says Alex. Yes, well done. Fantastic. And that is exactly what's happened. So look at this. When I push this one down, now watch this. Look, I start pushing and look, nothing really is happening at first. The reason for that is because the atoms are so spread out that they can get a little bit closer. They're kind of really spread out. You know, I'm squishing them together and they're like, oh, okay, we'll get a bit closer. So they're just getting a little bit closer. But eventually, when I push enough, look at this. Can you see this? It's already going down. Okay, this is going down. Then eventually this one goes up. So I'll come closer. Here we go. Right, here we go. So I'm going to push down on this one. Here we go. And the other one goes up. It's magic. Now, in fact, it isn't magic. It is science. It's because of, now, even though it's invisible to us, the air is full of atoms. We're pushing down on this. The air then travels down the tube and it pushes this one up. Okay. Now, in fact, if I end up pushing on both of them, okay, so here we go. If I push on both of them, it's sort of trying to go up. See, I can actually compress it quite a lot. I can get the air to end up being pushed together. The atoms themselves actually end up becoming much, much closer. Now, we can't do that with solids, okay? We actually can't do that with liquids either. But, as I said, so when I push up on this, as long as I'm not pushing against it, it'll go up and down. Now, this is fantastic. It's very, very useful for our mechanism, okay? So let's have a quick look. What we're going to do is, let me grab this. Now, we can do this with water, or we can do it with air. Now, it's up to you, actually, if you want to do it either way. Now, what I'm going to do is, the problem is that water is not very visible to you guys. So what I've got here is, here we go. I've got a small amount of liquid here for us to see. And let me quickly just pull this up here. There we go. There we go. Sorry, just give me 1 second. What I'm actually going to, let me show you here my tabletop. I've got some liquid in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to suck this up so you can kind of see. There we go. Oh. There we go. There we go. I'm just going to pull this up. Great. Now, what I've done is I've just used, because we're British, there we go, I've sent it spinning. I've just actually, here we go, I've just got some coloured liquid here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I haven't been able to fill it up totally, sorry about that, because I'm trying to do this in make sure I've done this quick enough for you. Here we go, and I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid so we can actually see this. Now, the same thing happens when I use this. Now, this is actually cold tea, okay? So I apologize, there we go. But I thought it'd be useful just to kind of show you. What we can actually see is we can see this going up. Now, there is still a little bit of air in there, and that's absolutely fine. What I can then do is get rid of that air. So my advice to you is if you could fill yours up completely. There we go. There we go. I've made a little bit of a mess. Sorry, Ali, I've made a bit of a mess. He's okay. He said just as long as I wipe it up. There we go. Fantastic. So what I can do is I can push with a liquid here, okay? And I can push up here and push down. Now it's up to you whether you want to use a liquid. Now I needed something that was a little bit colourful, essentially, so that you could actually see it on camera. But you can actually see with the liquid here, okay, what happens is if I push one down, the other one immediately goes up. There's no delay. Now, just a little piece of advice for you. You can do it in a kitchen or you can do it in a bathroom or something, but please be careful with this. When you put the liquid in there, if you push against them, because you can't compress the liquid, what ends up happening is the pipes can end up popping off and you can end up getting water everywhere. So please do be careful. Do be careful if you're going to do it with a liquid or a gas. Is up to you. Right, let's get making the jack to lift. Okay, so let's get the jack lifting. What we then do is we either fill it up with air or with liquid, but my advice is I would fill one of the syringes up with liquid. Okay, so what you do is you just take one of these off and you push down the other, and then you suck up the water from a mug or from a glass or something like that so that it's full. Okay, and then what you do, you don't need to get it perfect, but essentially try and get as much of the air out of there as possible. All right, then what we're going to do here is there's a little piece called the socket. Okay, now the socket is within, it should be within the envelope. So here we go. So within this little holder here, and we're going to use this little wooden thing here called the socket. Okay, and also I've got some elastic bands here as well. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this socket, okay, and you place it onto the end of the syringe that you've now got the water, or the long end, okay, and we just place this onto here like this. So let me just try and get the socket in place there for you. There we go. Now the socket will more easily go on if you have the syringe slightly rotated. Okay, so try and rotate it to make sure that the socket goes on completely like that. Okay, all right, perfect, good. Now the next thing we do with the socket is we got our jack lift here and we place that onto. Do you see this little piece of wood that you've placed here? You place the socket onto that. Okay, and that should hold it in place. And then what we do is we push on this syringe here. Okay, as I said, Owlie said, I can't believe you used tea. Well, I had to use something that was colourful enough, but it wouldn't transfer too much. So what I'm going to do here is you then, okay, you place the syringe onto this base plate here, and you can actually place the plastic part through this bottom part here. Okay, now next what we do is we take the elastic band and we move it over the top here. Okay, so let me quickly make sure what's going on here. Okay, we're going to take this here and we pull this over the top so it holds the syringe in place. Okay, hi Gina and Janet, how are you getting on? Fantastic, good. All right, so that is there. Okay, that is that. Right, now I'm going to push my jack lift down. Okay, now I've got my liquid. Now it could be anything. As I said, I wanted to use a colour liquid for you guys to see. I suppose I could have used some milk as well, but actually, as I say, it's best if you just use normal water and much easier to clean out. Fantastic. Great. Now, how are you guys getting on? I can see some of you guys have already done it. You built it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to test it out. Okay, so what I've got my jack lift here. Okay, but we're going to need to test it with something. What are we going to test it with? Owlie. Fantastic. Are you okay, buddy? You want to be? Yes, he enjoys this. He really enjoys this bit. I think this is probably one of your favourite sets, isn't it, Owlie? Yeah, you love this. Okay, all right. So what we're going to do is place Owlie on the top there. We see his little feet here. Okay, fantastic. Right, now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push on this syringe here. Okay, so I'm going to push on this syringe here. So let's have a look. Now, what is going to happen? Okay, Ali, you okay, buddy? All right, fantastic. What is going to happen when I press on? What is going to happen when I press on this? Okay, so here we go. What I'm going to do here is press on this. Okay, Shannon says you're doing good. Well done, fantastic. Right, let's have a go. Ali, you ready? Okay, don't worry, I'll catch you if I. Yep, there we go. I'm going to push on this, and what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Eventually, there we go. Owlie's gone up. Now, we'll discuss about why that happens, but look at this. He's actually lifted up. Are you okay up there, Owlie? Yes, he's an owl, he says, and he's used to heights, so that's fine. Now, of course, if I pull on this one here, what's going to happen is he's going to go down, and if I push on this, he's going to go up. Okay, and there we go. Fantastic. You enjoying this? Do you want me to keep going? He wants me to keep going. Okay, he's having a great time. There we go. Up he goes. Now, have you got any toys at home that you can put on your jack lift as well and make them rise up? No, I know you're not a toy. You're a real owl. But have you got any toys? Not real owls. Yeah, perfect. Good. And we go up and down. I know you want to keep going, Ali. I promise we'll do it after the show. I promise, I promise. Okay, fantastic. Great. Thanks, buddy. All right, brilliant. So have you been able to get yours working? Have you been able to get it go? Now, by the way, this should still work if you have air within your syringes here, okay? But as I said, it works better if you have a liquid, but please be careful while you're putting the liquid in not to press on the two ends, because as I say, the can actually force the little pipes to pop off and end up becoming a little bit. Charlotte says it works. Anyone else? Have you guys been able to try it at home? Now, let me quickly ask you guys a question. So I said there would be another poll, okay? Now this one, the last one was a bit of a trick question because the answer was all of the answers were correct. This one isn't so much, but let's have a look at this. The last little poll, the jack rises because, so, yep. So now, the jack lift, okay, the jack rises because it wants to get away from the syringe. Is it that? Is it being told to by scientists? Is it because it wants to be like a unicorn? That sounds like a good answer, doesn't it, Ali? Or is it because when the syringe is pushed in, it forces the water out and makes the second syringe move, and this pushes the jack upwards? So what do you think is going on there, guys? Is it rising because it wants to get away from the syringe? It's like, get away from the syringe. Or is it because it's been told to? Scientists have said, you must rise, Jack. I guess it's called Jack. Or is it because it wants to be like a unicorn? Oh, we like unicorns, don't we, Ali? Yep, fantastic. Or is it because when the syringe is pushed in, it forces water out, which makes the second syringe move and pushes the jack upwards? Now, I can see almost everyone has voted. I think that is it. Brilliant. Okay, I can see everyone has. Well done, fantastic. And let's share the results. 100% of you, all of you guys, absolutely correct. Well done. When the syringe is pushed in, it forces the water out, which makes the second syringe move, and this pushes the jack upwards. Well done, fantastic. Now, as I said, you didn't need to get it right. It was just more just to see how you were going and see how you felt about that. Now, is one of the really good questions that's come in from Justin. Thank you very much. As I said, I love your questions. Is there a weight limit on the lift? Yes, I'd be careful. I don't think it would be able to lift me, would it, Owly? No, Owly's saying that I'm made of more atoms than him, so because I'm slightly bigger, so I probably wouldn't. It wouldn't be able to lift as many atoms as me. No, yeah, I could go on a diet. He says, Owly. Okay, fine. Anyway, but yes, I think it's true. I am just slightly bigger than Ali. I would say probably you're looking at now. In fact, that's something you guys can test at home. Remember, what I'm trying to encourage you guys to do is not just to give you the answers, but to try for yourselves. Now, be very careful to start with. I think what you could do is you could try using coins or toys at home. No, I wasn't inferring you're a toy, Ali. Don't worry. Now, let me know how you got on. How did you feel about this, Ali? Did you enjoy this? Best session ever? Oh, okay, but he loves going up on the jack, so I guess it's extra fun for him. You love this session? You really love this session. Fantastic. Okay, brilliant. Now, I hope you enjoyed the session. It is such a pleasure to have you guys here. Thank you very much. You've been amazing about participating as well, I have to say. So, I think, if anything, you guys made it a great lesson. Certainly one of the really, really great for me, I have to say. Best lesson. You still think best lesson ever. Cool. All right, fantastic. I know. Particularly loves this set, so yes, I'll get to you. Will go up and down, I promise. Ali will go up and okay, he wants to go up and down now, so I'm going to just kind of make him go up and down, and we'll kind of there we go. All right, he's going down. There we go. He wants to go up. Yes, Ali, fantastic. All right, cool. All right, buddy. Okay, now, sorry, I hope you did enjoy today's session, and thank you so much for joining me. You could have been doing so many other things, and so I just want to acknowledge you for being here, learning about the science. And if you have done the set, well done. And if you're going to do it, good luck. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you've also learned a little bit more about the science behind it. I will see you again very, very soon. Next week we are back, aren't we, Ali? We're back. So yeah, we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, guys, and look forward to seeing you again. Take care. All right, bye-bye.